Okay, let's get back to Megan Woods.
Yep.
Lodged. Now, Mr. Speaker, I think one of the things that is getting lost, certainly from the non-answers we've been getting from the Minister and the Chair, and certainly from government ministers, certainly the Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, the Finance Minister, Nicola Willis, when they've answered this, is a lack of any focus on the real people that this bill is going to affect. And if we look at those lists of the 33 claims that are going to be turfed out, and then because of Clause 2 of this bill, will be examined under this new piece of legislation, rather than, if my colleague's amendment went through, be examined under the legislation as it was when they went through. So we're talking about hospice nurse and healthcare assistants. We're talking about home care and support workers. We're talking about some of the workers in this country that do some of the hardest work that we call on people to do. All we are asking through this amendment, Mr. Speaker, is that these groups of workers are able to go through and have those claims examined under the legislation as it stood. Now, Mr. Speaker, one of the reasons why I think this is vitally important, because we've heard a lot of words, let's call them those, from members of the government. It's generous, you're right, Karen McAnulty, it is generous, but we've heard a lot of words about what the problem is, that there were a whole lot of claims that have been lodged and basically that they weren't fit, that wasn't what the legislation was intended to. But in the course of this debate and in question time today, we have not heard one example of what one of those claims are. We're just hearing assertions from ministers who know they are doing the wrong thing. They are doing nothing more than cutting women's pay and selling the women of New Zealand absolutely down the river, but they will not front us and tell us what the problem is. What are the egregious claims that are sitting there that mean that we have to change this legislation, not only for future claims, and speaking to the amendment to Clause 2 that my colleague Danny Anderson has here, but for those existing claims so they could be heard under the legislation as it was lodged. So I ask the Minister to tell this House, we haven't had a select committee process, we don't have the option to tease that out through the committee process, we don't have a regulatory impact statement. In fact, there is no analysis that we can see. What is the problem definition here? What are the claims that are so problematic that for 33 groups of workers that currently have claims in at the moment, the law is going to change, and because of Clause 2 of this legislation, they lodged claims believing they were going to be examined under legislation as it was at the time, but this government is going to pass what is effectively retrospective legislation, so that all changes. The Minister needs to front up. She's not fronting up on much, but Madam Chair, she needs to front up and tell us.
Camilla Bellich.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a law already, but can we make it that every repeal proposed, along with every new bill proposed, needs to come with a regulatory impact statement in a select committee process?
Oh, that would be so great. I mean, it's only budget stuff that normally doesn't, that skips. Like, in a normal running course of a parliament, it's usually budget stuff that skips select committee.
Right, well, this is definitely not budget stuff.
No. You know, yeah. It's usually budgetary stuff that skips select committee and go under urgency. You know, this is not the normal place you normally put it.
No,
okay.
I still am, I think unlike most of New Zealand, still at a loss of what the urgency is and what the problem with the law is. And if it was brought in just 2 days, who wrote it? Because it just seems like a lobby law.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably is. You know, what's the urgency? Well, you know, Judith Collins needs helicopters. She needs second-hand helicopters from the States. Better throw women under the bus.
Is this because she appointed somebody and they crashed into a coral reef and they've got to pay like all of that?
Oh, God knows.
Yeah.
But all I know is that, you know, Judith needs $2 billion or something for helicopters. I don't know. I'll have to look in depth into that, but it's something stupid. She's like, well, if the money needs to be found, well, she found the money. Yay.
Well, I think that New Zealand should get to crowdsource and decide where the budget should be cut.
A citizens' assembly.
That sounds like a participatory budget system. I like participatory politics.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook